It's gut check time. According to the Heart and Stroke Foundation, a new study suggests Canadian kids are being bombarded with more than $25 million worth of junk food ads online every year, and they want Ottawa to step in and ban the ads or risk setting up kids for obesity and lifelong health problems. Joining me now, Leslie James. Thanks you so much for joining us, Leslie.
Thanks for having me.
Break down why this is such a crisis.
Well, the Heart and Stroke Foundation today released a report showcasing that our kids and youth are being bombarded with unhealthy food and beverage advertising, and it's really creating poor health outcomes in the long term and creating conflict in Canadian homes. So we want to ask the federal government introduce legislation that limits all commercial food marketing to children and protects kids and makes it easier for parents and kids to make healthy choices in the long term.
If we don't take some kind of corrective action, what could the consequences be?
Well, we're seeing the risk of heart disease and stroke and other chronic diseases happening earlier and earlier in kids. The rates of obesity have tripled in the past few decades, and our kids are leading, unfortunately, shorter lifespans than their parents because of this. So we need to take action, and this policy measure is one of the best ways to do so.
How much do you believe that advertising, marketing weighs into this crisis and in this problem? Some people at home might say, well, maybe parents should just do better parenting and not let their kids buy certain things.
So we've been tracking this for quite some time, and there's a lot of support across Canada for this. About 71% of parents believe that the food and beverage industry spends too much money advertising unhealthy food and beverage products to kids, and they have an unfair advantage when it comes to influencing kids' behaviors in terms of consuming unhealthy foods.
So really, no matter where you look, we're bombarded with ads. How can parents fight back?
Well, they can support legislation. Right now, the Minister of Health is looking towards introducing legislation. We have a leader in the Senate who's introduced legislation already. We want Canadians to support this and help it move forward quickly. But recognize that it's everywhere. It's not just TV anymore. It's online. It's in schools and recreation centers. And talk to leaders and talk to your city councillors and government officials about what you can do to protect children and youth going forward.
You talked about conflict in the House. How does that factor into this?
It's challenging because marketers know that kids nag their parents. They introduce these attractive ads using celebrities and marketing sugary drinks and unhealthy foods. And kids who don't necessarily have their own money will nag their parents to buy this. We've all seen kids in grocery stores, seeing something exciting like a chocolate bar, and sometimes they have temper tantrums and they want this. And quite often parents give in because it's difficult to manage that. So we want to make it easier for parents to help steer their kids in the right direction.
Clearly for parents, if their children and more children become obese, what is the end result?
Well, obesity is costing our healthcare system billions of dollars annually, and we're seeing increasing rates of obesity among children. So we want to make sure that children and youth develop the best eating habits from an early age, which tracks into adulthood.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today, Leslie. If you want to read more about this report, you can find it on our website, citynews.ca.